Well, welcome to Keeping It Real with April and in our next object lesson. So, as you can tell, we're going to talk about one of my favorites, our inner child. And of course, I'm going to bring my inner child, my little girl, and we're going to look at some examples of what keeps us stuck, from what keeps us from being aligned to our true selves, our true desires, and living life to the fullest with joy and peace. And so we're going to take a look at steps from pain that was caused to us or pain that we perceived, words, hurtful words that were told to us, and how that gets stuck in us. And then as adults, how we're living that out if, we're not um, connecting with our inner child and working that pain to releasing it to where we can fill it with love and joy and peace, right? So let's see what keeps us stuck. So we're going to say goodbye to the little boy as we're going to focus on my little girl and using her in this object lesson today because I'm going to talk about a pain that happened to me and how it played out in my life. So let's just jump right in and get started. So, anyway, here she is, my little girl, and we're going to look at some hurtful words, a painful event that happened to you. I want you to be thinking as you're watching me go through some examples of what we're going to talk about today. So I want you to always keep in mind pain always seeks to be comforted. And so we're going to look at the steps of pain that was caused to us and maybe ways that we comforted that kept us safe as a child, right? But it's not working for us as adults, but yet we're still in that cycle of just recreating that and living from that, and we don't know how to move past it, right? So first of all, let's take a look at maybe something that was told to you. So my example one could be you are the cause. You are the cause of all of our family conflict. It's you. If it wasn't for you, we would have peace in our home. So if that was told to you, let's look at some feelings. Because a lot of times we're so disconnected from our feelings, but it's the feelings that stay stuck in our body. So maybe because of that, those hurtful words, you feel alienated, you know? So you have this, we'll put it here, kind of in her gut. You just feel alienated. You feel all alone. Another thing that you could be feeling is feeling less than. You feel less than because that was told to you. Because everybody else seems to be doing good, and maybe the family would be better if you weren't around. So you might feel less than. You might even feel isolated. You're different. And you grow up thinking you're different from everybody and you try to fit in, but yet you can't because that feeling is left in you. For me, I dealt with sexual abuse from a boy in our neighborhood. And when you're young, you just don't know, right? You don't know what's right and wrong. But for some reason, I felt despicable because, it was always in hiding. And, you had to hide and keep a secret. And so I felt confused. Okay? So I feel confused and I'm having just all these feelings. So I'm feeling confused, despicable. I could feel ashamed is another one, and which I did. And mainly confused, just had to keep it, hidden. And then you have these feelings that are awakened in you, especially, when you're young and you don't know. And you don't talk to your parents about it or anyone. You just keep it, you try to figure it out in this little girl's brain. She doesn't know how to figure it out, so she's confused. So what we do is the way we cover that up, because all pain and feelings need to be comforted, right? So what do we do to comfort that? Well, as a little child, a lot of times parents aren't talking to you. You're not in a place where you can share this because, again, you're confused, you're ashamed, you feel less than. So you need to get that comforted. So then we don't know what to do with this. And so we start telling ourselves where the false beliefs start coming in. You know, those negative words that play in your mind. Where do those come from? Well, it comes from covering up your feelings. So you might, as being told that, you know, you're the problem of the family, we'll stick to that example. You might feel, well, I'm just a failure. I can't do anything right. So that begins playing in your mind. And you start attaching that to everything you do. Well, I'm just a failure. Instead of maybe just a mistake later in life you do, that comes back. I'm a failure. And then you might even feel like, well, I'm just stupid. I'm stupid. Everybody in my family thinks I'm stupid. Oops. All right, let's get this to stick on her. I'm having problems getting it to stick on her. Okay, so I'm stupid. So you have feeling like a failure here. It's not going anywhere. It's still here in her or in your little child. So I'm stupid. And then you start thinking, especially with me, as having sexual abuse is to cover it up. Well, I'm just bad. I'm bad. I gotta keep it secret. And this is just, you know, between me and him. And it's not where you just don't talk about it. So I must be bad. And then, you know, you get to where it's like, well, then nobody likes me because, you know, I have this secret. Nobody likes me. Or whatever event, maybe the other event of you're different in the family, you're the cause of all the problems, so no one likes me. So then this begins playing out as you're growing up, because for her, for my little girl, this is what I used to kind of protect me from these painful feelings. So I had to have it make sense to me. And so I just, either I was telling myself this, or maybe somebody outside of me was telling me these things that I'm bad. Nobody was telling me that because that was my secret. But yet, if you're in a family where you're told you're bad because of behaviors or just whatever triggered the adult in your life, and their pain is spewing onto you because, you know, that's the life they live. So they take their pain and they put it onto you. So this is what you're doing to make sense of this. Well, this is just too painful to live, right? As a child, you're trying to figure life out. So we begin to build walls, things that protect us, right? And so one of those things might be, for me, was I became a people pleaser. To my parents, I had very young parents, and so to keep them happy, I became a people pleaser. And they're trying to figure out life at a very young age, being married and having a child. And so I just didn't want to cause any waves. So I became a people pleaser. And with my sexual abuse, you know, just be a people pleaser there, to not get them mad at you or whatever. You just wanted just to make life easy, a people pleaser. I went to church at a very young age. And so, with my parents, so pleasing them, and then I began to people please there. I began to people please God. I never really had a good relationship because I was all about people pleasing. The silent treatment. I started doing the silent treatment. So if anyone hurt me, um, I just used the silent treatment. Well, that didn't play out very well later in life when I got married. It kept me from having friends because, I would judge them, and I just did the silent treatment. Well, you hurt me. Well, if you lived with anybody that does the silent treatment, that's one of the worst things you can do in a relationship, any kind of relationship, because it makes the people outside of you be like they're walking on eggshells, and you won't even tell them what upset you. Because, see, the thing is, people would get mad at me for doing the silent treatment, aka my husband, and I would be like, why am I doing this? I see it as self-destructive, but yet it's my little girl trying to keep me protected. She's fighting the battle for me because I don't want to deal with her. But yet I still keep doing these behaviors. I can't stop it because I'm covering up all this pain that I won't deal with. Sometimes what you do is, with the other pain, you might go into isolation, especially in your family. If you were told you're the problem of all of our family problems, then you just go into isolation. How's that working for you as an adult? Isolating. And so you isolate. Your little girl, your little boy is isolating to keep you protected from all this that you won't deal with or you don't know to deal with. So they're trying to protect you in isolation, but as an adult, you're like, why don't I have any friends? What's going on? But yet your energy, your behavior is causing you to isolate. You isolate people and you don't even know you do it because it comes from a deep place within. You could be critical and judging. And then you go to church and you're told, don't judge anyone. You're not to judge. God is the only one to judge, right? I don't believe that true anymore, but that's what we were told. And so we would go up to the front of the church to be prayed for, to get rid of these evil spirits, or just stop this behavior. You're in a relationship and you're told by your partner, you're critical and judging, just stop it. And then what you begin to do is you turn on your inner child. You turn on them. And they become your enemy. Just stop it. Stop. Just stop this. So then there's a huge disconnect within you. There's all kinds of maybe psychiatric terms for that. You disassociate because, oh my God, she's the problem. I just need to move on with my life. I need to stop these things. I need to become a different person. Or you become a victim to it. I don't know why people don't like me. I don't know why I can't succeed in life. I don't know why I always have these troubles and problems in my life. It's because we're in a struggle and a fight here. There's no alignment because we're just, so angry. Another one is rage. We can have rage. We can even have addictions. And that's a big one because then other people outside of you were like, oh my God, if you would just stop that behavior, if you would stop that addiction. And if you struggle with addiction, you can't just stop. You can't even stop this that's going on. We can't. So pain, remember, pain always seeks love and comfort, compassion, good affection. But our inner child is like, no, 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 no. We're going to stick behind our walls. I don't need nobody. But see, what our inner child needs is for us as adults to choose to be, I see you. I am not going to criticize. I'm not going to beat you up for these behaviors that other people might be labeling as bad, and I myself am labeling you as bad. It causes our inner child just to shrink back. But see, what is needed is, this is what causes us to change. This is what causes us to be in alignment and to be one, and to help that emotionally stunted child in us to grow up. Have you ever seen, you do it, but we never focus on ourselves, right? It's everybody else's problem. So I'll ask you, have you looked at your partner, your friend, someone in your life that is acting out? They're being ugly with their behavior. You can actually look at them as their inner child being, oh, that's just their 6-year-old self, their 7-year-old self, 6, 7. But anyway, that's their 5-year-old self. And it is. It is, because they don't know how to be. They don't know how to receive love and comfort because they have walls. And the thing is for us to acknowledge the inner child within us and say, I see you. I'm not going to judge you. I'm going to love you. And whatever that looks like, to sit and to journal maybe about these things. Start with your behavior and be curious. Why am I so judgmental? Why am I so critical? Why do I do the silent treatment? What am I protecting? What am I scared of? Have these conversations with your inner child. I'm telling you, they will speak. Through journaling, through being silent enough to shut that brain down of the judgment, of the critical words, the negative, hurtful words. Just be quiet and begin to love them. And as you do, and as you quit and let them begin to melt that away to where you're not seeing that anymore, you begin to see what the real issue is. These feelings. And once you begin to sit with your inner child with these feelings, what does it feel like to be despicable? What does it look like? Does it feel like I'm like in a field and it's muddy and it's gross and it's all over me and I can't get out? I feel sticky. Is that what despicable feels like? Being less than. Being like you're invisible. And sitting and writing about that, feeling it. What does it really feel like for us when we were little? And as you begin to express that, write it, talk about it, sing about it, write a song about it, feel it in your body, all over your body. That's when these things begin to lift. So it becomes as a, I felt less than. But it doesn't have that grip on me anymore. And when that starts happening in your journey, it takes a while. to really find your inner child and go through the behaviors, through the negative words. Be curious about it. Learn, listen. And that is when alignment starts to happen. That's when our emotional stunted child emotionally begins to grow up. And we can engage in the world. We're not a victim anymore. We begin to connect to ourselves, connect to God, the divine within, connect with other people, and life begins to be full. We begin to reparent that inner child within us. So be gentle. Be gentle to your inner child, because they've been waiting. Your inner child's been waiting for you. Don't be scared. Be brave and very courageous. And as always, continue in your journey. You're not alone.